My name is Kevin Bourke. I'm a certified financial planner professional and author of the book, Make Your Money Last a Lifetime. Are there tax breaks for Ponzi scheme victims? And the answer is yes. Not too many years ago, the IRS introduced rules giving tax breaks to Ponzi scheme victims. But as you can imagine, there are a lot of questions that come up and it can get fairly complicated. So first of all, you have to ask yourself, was it you as an individual? Were you part of a partnership? Was it a corporation? Who was it that actually was victimized by the Ponzi scheme? The IRS released this revenue ruling, two of them, 2009-9 and 2009-20, so that those who are victims of Ponzi schemes could navigate what type of tax breaks they actually get. So questions would come up like, what year is the loss declared? And was it the year they invested in the Ponzi scheme, or was it the year the Ponzi scheme was found out? What if they got income while they were in the Ponzi scheme? Because that's oftentimes what happens to make it appear legitimate. So they might have actually gotten something back from that. So there are a lot of questions to be answered. And that's why the IRS has given us the basics. They've codified this so that we know the answers to those questions. They have given us also Form 4684. That's been around a long time. But that form is a casualty theft form. So you've been robbed in a Ponzi scheme. So what you would do is you would fill out these revenue rulings or refer to those, and there's a worksheet, Appendix A, on 2009-20, and then that will help you figure out what to write on Form 4684. In fact, when you fill out this IRS form, across the top, you write the words Revenue Ruling 2009-20. And what that form does is it gives you a couple of options. One is called a safe harbor. And what that means in this context is the IRS has given a list of very basic questions that have to be answered. And there's a formula, and it tells you what your tax break is going to be. So it simplifies the process. The other method is to not use the safe harbor, in which case it's up to you as the taxpayer to document everything that happened, monies that went out, monies that came in, and so forth. In other words, it could be much more complicated, but you may decide, talking to your tax professional perhaps, that it makes more sense for you not to use the safe harbor, but for you to actually document your individual case. And then it's up to you and the IRS to work out how that works. So Revenue Ruling 2009-20, and then you fill out Form 4684, and remember that there is something called a safe harbor that you may take advantage of to simplify the whole process. So the answer to the question, are there tax breaks for victims of a Ponzi scheme? The answer is yes, and the IRS has ruled on that in these revenue rulings.